Hey, my name is April, and I'm the Peaceful Wife. Today I have 2 challenges for you to consider. The first is, I would like you to consider, unless your husband is involved in serious issues like infidelity, pathological lying, crime, adultery that he has not repented from, drug or alcohol addiction, unless you've got some really serious issues going on, I would love to challenge you to believe what your husband says and take it at face value. This is a challenge for a lot of us because as women, sometimes we want to read into things. Well, did he really mean that? Well, what did he mean by that? Well, what if he meant this? Maybe he really didn't mean that he's just tired. Maybe he really is trying to say, and then we go into all these what ifs and we try to mind read. And a lot of times we guess very wrongly when we try to read into things. I think a lot of our husbands would really appreciate if we just take what they say at face value and believe them. And our lives would be a lot more simple. The other thing I would like to challenge us to do is for us to be straightforward with our husbands, for us to communicate honestly, directly, in a straightforward way, not trying to give hints, but like actually saying what we want and need and how we feel in a respectful, polite, concise way. So here are a couple of examples. And this is a difficult thing. Both of these challenges are difficult if we haven't been doing them. If we're used to going into all kinds of speculation about what our husbands might be saying, it's strange to just take them at face value and to just believe them. But as you do that, your husband will realize that you're believing him, and he'll probably, as he feels safe sharing, he may open up even more. And it will be a transition and a time of learning, but I think you'll be amazed at the results. And then as far as us saying what we really want and need, some women feel like, no, that's selfish, or no, that's being demanding if I actually come out and ask for what I want. No, it's really not. In fact, it's more difficult on the people who love us when we try to throw hints or use nuance, or we try to manipulate them into doing what we want, or we want them to read our minds. That's frustrating when you have somebody who won't just clearly communicate what they want and need. Now, you're going to say what you want and you need, and you can say it pleasantly, respectfully, in a friendly way. That doesn't mean you get to force what you want. And some people think, well, if I say what I want, I'm being demanding. No, to just say, I would love to spend some time together this week, honey. Or to say, I'd really like to think about changing jobs. Or I want another baby. Or to say something that we want straightforward like that, that's part of vulnerability. That's part of healthy relationships, is that each person gets to be their own person, has their own feelings, thoughts, ideas, needs, and concerns, and it's safe to share them. That's a healthy relationship. A dysfunctional relationship says it's not safe to share your feelings. It's not okay to talk about problems. I'm responsible for your emotions and your decisions, and you're responsible for mine. That's a dysfunctional kind of relationship. In a healthy relationship, it is safe to talk about your feelings, your needs, your wants, your desires, and it is safe to have disagreements and conflict because we know we'll work through it together. And we understand that conflict is not the end of the world. Conflict is inevitable whenever there is more than one person, and that's not a bad thing. It can be an opportunity for growth, and it can be an opportunity to become closer together, to work together as a team. So conflict is not the enemy. And as we learn to say what we really mean, Jesus talks about let your yes mean yes and your no mean no, and anything other than that is from the evil one. And I think if we say, okay, imagine, for example, if I were to tell my husband, I don't need any help. Don't help me. All right. Do I really mean I don't need any help? If I'm really stressed and I'm trying to run around and do all the chores and take care of the kids and I'm not feeling good or something, do I really mean don't help me? Or am I expecting him to help me? The thing is, I put my husband in a terrible situation when I say stuff like that, because I'm showing him I'm angry. I'm telling him not to help me, so now it will be disrespectful of him to help me because I told him not to help me. But then, am I going to hold that against him if he doesn't help me? Am I going to say, you are not loving and you're so selfish and you saw I needed help and you didn't help me? It's just so much easier for everybody and it's a more honest approach to say, you know what, honey, I do need help. Would you please take care of the dishes for me while I put the kids to bed? That'd be great. Then there's no question what I need. And then my husband can decide, sure, I'll help. Let me take care of the dishes. Or how about I'll grab the kids? Or, I'm slammed with work tonight. I really wish I could help. Here's what I can do. It's up to my husband. It's up to the other person to decide how they're going to respond. But I can ask for what I want and need. And I can speak in a straightforward, concise way that communicates clearly. I can be respectful, friendly, polite, pleasant, but and I do not have to be controlling and rude to say what I need and feel. I like the idea that Laura Doyle has in The Surrendered Wife. Now, she's not a Christian author, so we do need, with every author, we need to weigh whatever the person says against God's word. But the examples of how she talks about being vulnerable, and vulnerability increases intimacy. So her examples are things like just saying very simply, I need this. I don't want that. I want this. I feel angry. I feel upset. I feel afraid. I'm worried. I feel happy. I feel sad. Just very clearly, simply stating emotions, any of them that you have. I'm feeling lonely. Would you please do this with me? So we state what we feel. We ask for what we want and need very simply. It actually makes things so much easier, because now instead of spending an hour telling my husband, you should do this and you're not spending enough time with me, and getting upset, I can just simply say, you know what, I'm feeling lonely. Could we spend some time together? Or could we just spend some time together tonight? That would mean a lot to me. And he responds a lot better because I haven't attacked him. And it's a much faster way to ask for what I need. It's more effective and it's clear. A lot of men communicate very directly and clearly, and they're not used to hints. They're not going to pick up on hints. So if we want something, it's fine to ask for it. And we can ask for it in a non-pressuring kind of way. For example, let's see, if my husband wants to buy me a gift for Christmas, I could be very non-direct and act like, oh, I don't need a gift, but I might really want a gift, and he doesn't know what I mean. Or I might say, oh, whatever you want is fine, but now I'm not telling him what I really want. If there is something I truly want, it's fine to say, honey, I would really like to have this for Christmas. Or to give him a couple of options of things I would like. That's fine. In fact, he would rather me do that than him just have to guess or for me to say something that I don't mean. Because in healthy relationships, people are honest and they share truthfully about their ideas and feelings and everything. Another big key when we're communicating in an honest way, in a godly way, is our motives. Okay, if I'm afraid to say how I feel to my husband or to somebody else, why is that? Is there something unbiblical in my thinking that has me so afraid to share? Do I think I'm not worth as much as other people? Do I think it's wrong for me to have desires? Do I think that other people's desires are important but mine don't matter? If there are wrong ways of thinking about myself or about God or relationships, then it's time to hash through those and really look at, what am I believing about this and what does the Bible say? And some other motives to help questions to help us look at motives. How am I going to respond after I say what I plan to say? Is there going to be a temptation for me? Like if I say, no, I don't need any help, am I going to resent my husband when he doesn't help me? If so, then I might need to rethink what I need to say, to be honest. And I can also ask myself, before I speak, how can I be honest, authentic, vulnerable, respectful, and loving? And what does God want me to do? What is He prompting me to say in this situation? We are all real people, and we all have real needs, and we are all allowed to have needs, emotions, and feelings, and that's a good thing. The places where people are not allowed to have needs, emotions, and feelings, and they're not allowed to say what they want, would be places like concentration camps, slavery, really abusive relationships, abusive families, a totalitarian dictatorship, a communist country. Places like that, people don't have the freedom to say what they really feel and need and want. But in a healthy relationship, everybody should be able to say what they need and to even share criticisms and respectfully and concerns. If I realize that I'm going to feel resentful if I don't ask for something, then I need to go ahead and ask for what I need. Now, if other people don't give me what I want, then that does not mean that I get to pitch a fit. I can accept their no, and then I can pray and ask God to help me deal with that graciously. I don't get to hold on to resentment or hatred or bitterness. If you would like to share some ways that you have learned to communicate in a very clear, honest, loving, respectful way in your marriage or your relationship, we would love to hear about that. And you can also find me at my blog at www.peacefulwife.com.